So let's just get right into it. We all have a plan for our lives, right? Our option A. But what happens when that plan completely falls apart? Today, we're going to talk about how to build resilience, how to find that strength when life shoves you onto a path you never, ever wanted, all based on the incredible work of Sheryl Sandberg and Adam Grant. This quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? It comes from Sheryl Sandberg's friend, Phil, and it really is the heart of our whole conversation. It's raw, it's honest, and it captures that critical moment where your mindset has to shift. It's not about pretending you aren't heartbroken over losing option A. It's about looking at option B, your new reality, and deciding you're going to face it with everything you've got. So what even is resilience? The biggest mistake people make is thinking it's something you're just born with, or you're not. But that's not it at all. Think of it like a muscle. It's something you can build, something you can practice, and something you can make stronger over time. And look at this definition. It's not just about being strong enough to take a hit. It's about the strength and, just as important, the speed of your response. How fast can you get back up? How effectively can you process what happened and start moving forward again? That's resilience. Here's another way to think about it. Pretty much everyone has a backbone, that basic ability to stand up. But resilience? That's all the work you do to build up those psychological muscles around the backbone. That's what makes you stable. That's what helps you absorb the shocks life throws at you. Okay, so before we can start building those muscles, we have to talk about what weakens them. Psychologists have found there are these really common mental traps, these roadblocks that we fall into after a crisis, and they can totally stop our recovery cold. And thankfully, there's a pretty easy way to remember them. They're called the 3 Ps: personalization, permanence, and pervasiveness. Just being able to name these thought patterns when they pop up, that's the very first step to taking away their power. Let's break down what each one actually feels like. Okay, first up, personalization. That's the voice in your head that whispers, "This is all my fault." You fight that by asking, "Wait, what's some evidence that this wasn't my fault?" Then there's permanence. That's the heavy feeling that this awfulness is never ever going to end. You push back by reminding yourself, feelings change. And then there's pervasiveness. This is the belief that one horrible event has now poisoned every single part of your life. You battle that by finding just one thing, one tiny thing, that the tragedy hasn't ruined. All right, enough about the traps. Let's talk about the escape hatches. How do we actually climb out of them and start getting stronger? Let's get into some real practical tools you can put in your personal toolkit. The absolute foundation of this whole toolkit is self-compassion. And it sounds so simple, but wow, is it hard for so many of us. It just means treating yourself with the same understanding you'd give to a friend, instead of that harsh, critical voice. And the research is clear. People who practice this, they just recover faster. Period. Now, here's something you can literally do tonight. Write down 3 small wins. And trust me, it might feel a little silly at first. You might be writing down, "I made the bed," or "I answered 1 email." But that's the whole point. It starts rewiring your brain to see what you're capable of, however small, instead of just focusing on the pain. And that ties right into the power of writing. I mean, the simple act of turning your jumbled feelings into words on a page, it's been shown to improve not just your mental health, but your physical health too. It helps you make sense of it all, so you can finally start to move on. Resilience isn't something you build in a vacuum. A huge part of it is built in our connections with other people. But let's be honest, sometimes when we try to help a friend who's hurting, we totally miss the mark. So how do we actually truly help? The secret is to upgrade from the golden rule to the platinum rule. You know the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated. The platinum rule says, treat others how they want to be treated. It means you stop guessing and you start listening. You pay attention to what they actually need, not what you think they need. And please, can we all agree to stop saying, "Let me know if you need anything"? That just puts the burden right back on the person who's already overwhelmed. Instead, do something specific. Sheryl Sandberg tells this great story about a friend who just texted her, "What do you not want on a burger?" It's brilliant, it's concrete, it's helpful, and it gives a little bit of control back to the person who feels like they have none. Okay, this next idea is a total game changer. It's called the ring theory. Imagine a crisis in the center of a circle. The person in that center gets comfort from everyone. The people in the next ring out, they give comfort into the center, but they only get to complain or kvetch out to the people in the bigger rings. It's a simple rule: comfort in, kvetch out. It stops us from accidentally dumping our own stress on the people who are hurting the most. All right, let's wrap this up by talking about one of the most unbelievable outcomes of going through hell. It's this idea that you don't just have to survive a struggle, you can actually grow from it. And I know, when you're in the middle of it, that sounds absolutely insane. How could anything good possibly come from something so awful? Well, the research is pretty clear. It can. It's a real thing, and it's called post-traumatic growth. The key idea here is that you don't just bounce back to who you were before. You can actually bounce forward. You find new strengths you didn't know you had, you forge deeper relationships, all because of what you went through. This quote just nails the paradox of it all, doesn't it? On the one hand, you become deeply aware of how fragile life is, how vulnerable you are. But right alongside that, you discover this incredible strength inside you that you never ever knew was there. And this is so important to remember. Letting yourself feel joy again, that's not betraying your grief. It is the ultimate act of defiance. It's you looking tragedy in the face and saying, "You will not take everything from me." It is a reclamation of your life. So as we close out, I just want to leave you with this one question. It doesn't have to be some huge, life-changing thing. Maybe it's the taste of your morning coffee. Maybe it's a song you love that comes on the radio. What's one small piece of joy you can intentionally claim for yourself today?